Hit it, Phil.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze. It's Jackson time. La-da-da-da.
Stay tuned.
Right after this episode.
For our discussion.
The Jack Benny Program. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the city of Beverly Hills. Here you see Camden Drive, one of its many beautiful streets. And this lovely house is the home of Jack Benny. Let's go in and pay him a visit. I know he's home because I saw his car in the garage. Come on.
And you needn't ask me to leave because you're going to sit there and listen to what I've got to say.
Uh-oh, there seems to be some sort of commotion going on. Let's peek in and see what it is.
I haven't told you half what's on my mind. And believe me, I'm talking for everybody in the neighborhood. When you first moved in, we thought you were a nice, gentle, kindly old man. But before we knew it, you had the mortgages on all our houses. Oh, I don't blame you for not saying anything. All you can do is sit there with your mouth wide open. And why? Because even you know that last trick you pulled was the cheapest, most abominable thing anybody ever did. Imagine putting a woman with 7 children out on the sidewalk because she missed one payment.
Well, I'm not going to listen to any more of this. Rochester.
Yes, sir.
And no matter what you do, I'm glad I got it off my chest.
Shut off that television set.
Thrilling story, The Mean Old Man. In tomorrow's episode, you will hear another true story.
Boss, I don't know why you look at this program. It always upsets you.
Where they get those fantastic, unbelievable ideas, I'll never know. Nobody could be that cheap. Ridiculous.
You've been sitting around the house all day. Why don't you get some exercise? Why don't you go out and putter around in the garden?
No, I'm just going to sit here and relax. That's all I want to do.
Well, if that's what you want to do, maybe I better make you comfortable.
Yeah? Ah.
I just threw that one in to help you out.
Rochester, when was the last time I stayed home all day and just sat around the house?
That was back in 1933.
33?
Yeah, that's when they closed the banks and you didn't have any place to go.
Yeah.
Well, boss, as long as you're in such a comfortable and relaxing mood, maybe this is a good time to ask you.
Ask me what?
Well, I was wondering if I could have tonight off.
The night off? You had a night off 2 months ago.
Oh, boss, you're not going to count that one.
Why not?
That's when I had my appendix taken out.
What's the difference? You didn't get home till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Tried to get home sooner, but they had me strapped to the table.
Excuses. Anyway, what's so important about you having tonight off?
Oh, tonight my club is having their meeting, and after the meeting, we always have a little entertainment. And tonight, I'm the added attraction. I'm going to sing and dance.
You sing?
On Central Avenue, I'm known as the sentimental fellow with the mellow bellow.
Well, I'll think about it.
No, thanks. If you want anything, I'll be in the kitchen defrosting the refrigerator.
Okay. Oh, boy, this is the life. Maybe later on I'll call Mary and ask her to come over and play cards. Nah, she cheats. I'll just sit here and... Oh, Rochester! Never mind, I'll get it. Well, hello, Mr. Brown.
Hello, Mr. Benny. I'm sorry I'm 3 days late with the rent on our house, but here it is.
Oh, thank you.
By the way, Mr. Benny, our hot water heater is leaking. Do you think maybe you could have it fixed?
Well, the plumbing costs are so very high now.
Yes, I guess they are, but it's been months since you promised to paint the living room.
Well...
I fixed the hole in the roof myself.
Good, good. And I'll get you a pan to put under the hot water heater.
Well, guess I'll be running along.
Oh, Mr. Brown. By the way, how's your wife? I mean, what's she doing now?
Haven't you heard? She writes that television program, The Mean Old Man.
Yes. Yes, I watch it every day. Your wife has quite an imagination.
Yeah, imagination. Well, goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Who was at the door?
Mr. Brown from Long Beach.
Oh, he's been complaining a long time about a hole in the roof.
It's fixed, it's fixed.
But, boss, I don't remember you sending anyone down there to fix it.
Rochester, if I say it's fixed, it's fixed. Now, if you don't believe me, watch tomorrow's episode and find out. You finished defrosting the refrigerator?
Well, I haven't started defrosting yet. I'm still taking things out.
Oh.
Oh, hello, Rochester.
Oh, Mr. Wilson.
Hi, Jack.
Hello, Don.
I'm certainly glad I found you home because there's something I must talk to you about.
Oh, excuse us, Rochester.
Yes, sir.
Oh, by the way, when you finish with the refrigerator, put all the things back in so they'll be easy to reach.
Oh, I'll have a lot more room now that I've taken that large cardboard box out.
No. Put the box back in. I have to leave it there all summer.
Why? What's in it?
Miss Livingston's fur coat. I made her a better deal than the storage company.
Mr. Benny's residence, star, stage, screen, radio, and television. And don't forget our slogan. During the summer, you can save some cash by storing your furs right next to our ash.
May I speak to Mr. Benny?
Who's calling, please?
I'm Mrs. Miller. My boys are in Mr. Benny's Beaver Club, and there's something I'd like to talk to him about.
Just a moment. Mr. Benny, it's a Mrs. Miller. She wants to talk to you. She's the mother of a couple of the boys in the Beaver Club.
Oh, excuse me, Don. Wonder what she wants. Hello?
Mr. Benny, I hope this won't be an imposition, but one of my boys has a very bad tooth, and it has to come out.
Oh. Rochester, have we got a pair of pliers in the house?
Oh, no, Mr. Benny, I didn't mean that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind, Rochester.
But I would appreciate it if you'd let me bring him over to your house so you could talk him into going to the dentist.
But how can I...
Mr. Benny, he admires you so much. I'm sure you can persuade him to go.
Well, if you think I can help, bring him over. Anything for the Beavers.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. She wants me to talk her little boy into going to the dentist. Now, what is it you want to see me about?
Well, Jack, I've been going over the script for your next television show, and I noticed the writers have indicated a musical number. I just wonder who you want to get.
Well, Don, you didn't have to bother me with those small details. Get whoever you want.
Oh, that's fine. I know a little group we can get for about $1,000.
Come back here.
But, Jack, you just said...
Never mind what I said. This isn't a small detail. I mean, we got to think about this. Don, if I told you once, I told you $1,000. I mean, 1,000. Now, let's think about it. Let's see who we can get.
Well, Jack, I know you want someone good, but I also know you won't pay enough to get a Crosby or a Como or a Tony Martin.
Say, I know who we can get.
Who?
Don, have you ever heard of the sentimental fellow with the mellow bellow?
The sentimental fellow with the mellow bellow?
Someone call me?
Yes, Rochester. How would you like to do a song on my television show?
Jack, do you mean to tell me that Rochester is the sentimental fellow?
With the mellow bellow. Now, how about it, Rochester?
Oh, but, boss, I couldn't walk out on that stage there with all those cameras. I'd have stage fright.
But you told me yourself you were going to sing at your club tonight.
Well, but that's different. On your show, I'd be standing out there singing with an 18-piece orchestra behind me.
Well, what have you got behind you at your club?
A bartender and 3 members barbecuing spare ribs.
What do you know, a 4-piece combo. Rochester, you'd be fine on my show.
But, boss...
Now, what are you going to sing at your club tonight?
Well, I was going to do an imitation of Louis Armstrong singing, I Can't Give You Anything But Love, Baby.
Well, that would be great on my show, wouldn't it, Don?
I think it'll be wonderful. Come on, Rach, let's try it here on the piano. Now, let's see, how's this for key?
I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing I really on, baby. Dream a while, scheme a while, use your divine happiness, and I guess all the little bit of things you always buy for tea. I like to see you looking swell, baby. Diamond bracelets, woolworth doesn't sell. Baby, till that lucky day you don't know well, baby, that I can't give you anything but love. Till that lucky day you know don't well, baby, that I can't give you anything but love.
Hey, Don, that's fine. And Rochester, you have nothing to worry about. You'll be great.
Gee, thanks, boss.
The only thing is, Don, if we're going to do it in the show, we ought to have a little rehearsal on it. But, Don, as long as we are going to rehearse... Oh, excuse me.
Mr. Benny, I'm Mrs. Miller.
Oh, yes, yes. Come on in. Hello, Stevie. Joey.
Hi, Mr. Benny.
So you're afraid to go to the dentist, huh?
Oh, Mr. Benny...
Let me handle this. You know what I think? I think you're a great big coward.
I'm not a coward.
Then why won't you go to the dentist?
Because it's his tooth that hurts, not mine.
Oh. Well, then you're the coward, huh? Well, come on inside and we'll talk it over.
Thank you.
Don, this is Mr. Miller.
How do you do, Miss Miller?
You know the boy.
Hello, fellas.
Hi, Mr. Wilson.
Now, Joey, I can understand your little brother. But why would a big boy like you be afraid to go to the dentist?
Because my tooth don't hurt.
Mr. Benny, I'm sure if you'll talk to him, he'll go to the dentist. Because as I told you on the phone, you're his hero.
I know.
In fact, I'm kind of thrilled myself. Just talking to the man who used to play football under the name of Crazy Legs Hirsch.
Well.
Tell her about the time you caught your own kickoff and made a touchdown.
Well, Mrs. Miller, why don't we go to my dentist and get this thing over with?
Oh, Mr. Benny, I can't ask you to give up so much of your time.
Oh, I don't mind. I'm very happy to do it. Don, I'll be back in about a half hour. Now, Joey, if you want to be a beaver, you have to have good teeth.
My tooth don't hurt.
Yes, it does. I'm going upstairs and change my clothes, and I'll be right down.
Why don't you sit over here, Miss Miller?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Benny, it's awfully nice of you to go to all this trouble.
Well, that's all right. I was happy to do it. Right in here. Wait a minute. Hey, mister, what do you think that you... Mr. Kitzel! Mr. Kitzel, don't you recognize me? I'm Jack Benny.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just came from the optometrist's office. He put drops in my eyes, and I can't see so good.
Oh, that's too bad. What's wrong with your eyes?
I happen to be colorblind.
Colorblind?
Yeah, to me, yellow is brown.
Yellow is brown.
And not only that, brown is green, and green is yellow.
Wait a minute. Let me get this. Yellow is brown, brown is green, and green is yellow.
That's my condition. And last night at dinner, this caused trouble. My brother-in-law was eating what I thought was a hot dog. So I wanted to be smart. I said, how do you like the cucumber? He said, what cucumber? I'm eating a banana.
Oh, Mr. Kitzel, you're joking.
Oh, well, I got to be stumbling along now, Mr. Benny. Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Point me down the hall.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
You want to leave? Yeah. Now. Right straight ahead.
Here?
That's right. That's it. Mr. Kitzel! Mr. Kitzel! Well, it's a good thing we were on the ground floor. I'm sorry, but I just ran into a friend of mine. Now, Joey...
I don't want my tooth pulled. I don't want my tooth pulled. My tooth don't hurt.
Joey, you keep saying that all the time. At least speak correctly. It isn't my tooth don't hurt. It's my tooth doesn't hurt. Anyway, the dentist isn't going to hurt you.
I don't care. I don't want my tooth pulled. I don't want my tooth pulled. I don't want my tooth pulled. That's all you've been saying since we left home. You're nothing but a gutless yellow belly.
Stevie, please.
Stevie? Where did you learn words like that?
From you, Mr. Benny.
From me?
Yes. That's what you said to Jack Dempsey when you caught him with that left hook and he wouldn't get up.
Mr. Benny, you knocked down Jack Dempsey?
Oh, well, that was quite a while ago, you see. He was 3 and I was 12.
How do you do? Do you people have an appointment?
Well, you must be new here.
Yes, I am.
Well, will you tell Dr. Payton that Jack Benny's waiting?
Maybe we should have called first.
No, we don't. I've been going to Dr. Payton for years, you know. He's a very good friend of mine. We'll have our appointment right away.
Mr. Benny, Dr. Payton said you didn't have to come in. He mailed you the rent this morning.
That's not why I'm here. Little boy Joey has a bad tooth, and it has to come out.
I don't want my tooth pulled.
Well, in that case, the doctor will be able to take you in a minute. He just finished with a patient.
Oh. You see, Joey? You're in luck.
I don't want my tooth pulled.
Oh, Joey, there's nothing to worry about. Everything will be all right.
Mr. Benny, you may go in now.
Come on, Joey. Come on.
I don't want my tooth pulled. I don't want my tooth pulled.
Joey, now please. Joey.
I don't want my tooth pulled.
Joey?
Oh, hello there, Mr. Benny.
Oh, hello, Doctor. Doctor, this is Mrs. Miller.
How do you do?
Her boy Joey has a bad tooth, and it has to come out.
Well, we'll take care of that. When we're all through, I'll give you a lollipop.
I don't want my tooth pulled. It doesn't hurt. I don't want my tooth pulled.
Oh.
Mr. Benny, can't we do something?
Oh, Doctor. Doctor, come here. I just got an idea. You see, I'm Joey's hero.
You are?
Yes. And I want to show him that having a tooth pulled doesn't hurt at all.
It really doesn't.
I know, but we have to convince Joey. So I'll tell you what. I'll get in the chair, you see, and you make believe you're pulling out my tooth, and I'll make out like it's nothing.
An excellent idea. Excellent. Not new, but excellent. Let's all go in here, shall we?
Now, Joey, look, I'm going to have my tooth pulled. Come on. See? I like it.
That's right, Mr. Benny. Sit right down in the chair.
All right. I see. First, we have the examination. Isn't that right, Doctor?
That's right, Mr. Benny.
Now, yeah. All right.
Now, open your mouth, Mr. Benny, please.
Watch this, Joey. Watch this. See? There's nothing to it.
Mr. Benny.
Yeah?
Would you please open your mouth again? Real wide this time and lean back.
What is it, Doctor? What is it? What is it?
Nurse.
Yes, doctor.
Prepare the Novocaine.
Let's not overdo this kidding.
I'm not kidding. That third tooth from the end, the bicuspid, it's in terrible shape. It has to come out.
But, Doctor...
Mr. Benny, how old are you?
39.
Well, you've got a bicuspid that's 63.
Look, Doctor.
Mr. Benny, believe me, it's really in bad shape. It has to come out.
But I don't want my tooth pulled. It don't hurt. Honestly, it don't hurt.
You mean it doesn't hurt?
You see? Look, I'm going to get out of here.
Go ahead.
Joey. Now, Joey, stop.
Novocaine, doctor.
I don't want any Novocaine.
My.
Joey,
how brave he is. Look at Joey. All right, Mr. Benny.
Now, let me get out of here.
Come on, open your mouth.
Doctor.
Now, Joey, you get in the chair. Let's see. Come on. I'll get you in the chair. There.
Come on now. Open your mouth real wide, Joey.
I don't want.
Open your big mouth or I'll bash your head in.
Well, there's nothing wrong with your tooth, Sonny.
Oh, but doctor, look how black it is.
Oh, he's just been eating licorice.
Well, if that's all it is. Come on, kids. Let's go home.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Oh, just a minute, Mr. Benny.
Yeah?
You owe me $10 for pulling your tooth.
That's what you think. I just raised your rent.
it's you again.
You forgot to give me a lollipop. Good night, folks.
All right. Well, hello again, everybody. I am joined by our good friend, John Henderson. Hey, John.
Hello.
Hey, John, how's the podcast going? Anything special for the holidays or anything?
It's going well. I'm just going through episodes of the Jack Benny Show that are from around that time. So yes, there will be Christmassy episodes leading up to Christmas.
Now,
Just
John,
like-
do you have the same problem I have? For us is right now. It's right before Thanksgiving. There's a few Thanksgiving episodes. There's none that are really like, wow, this is the best Thanksgiving episode ever. Or anything. Is that true for you, or have you found one that you just love? Or
You know, they're just regular episodes, but it is neat to see them saying like, "Oh yeah, and Thanksgiving," just like an offhanded comment,
Yeah.
and then it happens to also be Thanksgiving now.
I mean, there's a couple like where they're having turkey or something, or there's some kind
I appreciate the turkeys coming after Jack, you know, whole trying him for murder, things like that.
Yeah.
Video episode.
And Jack dreams he's a turkey. I mean, that's a Thanksgiving one.
Yeah. So there's sort of that, but certainly the Christmas ones are great. There's so many wonderful Christmas shopping episodes to enjoy. So I love that. And then the Christmas party ones are always fun too. So he's got a few different Christmassy things. But anyway, we also have Kathy Fuller-Seeley with us. Hey, Kathy. So, Kathy, where are we at with the book?
The next one, the Chevrolet years.
Yes.
I'm starting to pull them all together, and I will get smart advice from experts like these wonderful folks joining me.
We're mentioned in most of the acknowledgments, folks, so we are special.
So.
But are we looking probably at like spring release or next fall?
Probably so hopefully by summer, yes, we will have the next, and it all comes down to, is it one volume, is it multiple volumes, how do I deal with most interestingly, Jack was so traumatized by the way that the Chevy era ended that he never talked about it again. So this is the one sponsor he would never mention because the new CEO of Chevrolet who came in preferred polka music and summarily just fired Jack and put on a program of polka music. And Jack just didn't know. It was, that's 1934, early 34, the depths of the Depression. And he didn't know what was going to happen next. And
how you could think it's better to replace Jack Benny with polka music? Not that I don't like polka music; it's fun, but it's just not Jack.
So, but I look forward to paying attention to the Chevy years because Mary's going to play a very large part. She starts imitating Mae West. She takes on a Mae West character that will eventually evolve into the Mitzi, the knowing, the sexy cigarette girl who does murders at Romanoff's and things like that. So, but this will be Mary at some of her highlights, and I think the introduction of Frank Parker as a different annoyer for Jack.
Nice.
It's going to be great fun.
That's awesome. I love early Mary, like the early years with Mary. I feel like she's really good.
Yeah. I love those too.
And she was getting noticed in the in the radio fan magazines and the newspapers. So it's really fun. Hopefully we'll document all that in the introduction.
Well, and it kind of makes me wonder if Jack would have just kind of went with it and said, well, how about if I introduce the polka show? And so he starts having this Jack Benny polka thing. And it could have, he might have been around till like the 1970s doing this polka show.
That was Lawrence Welk. Very good.
See, Jack and Lawrence could have been competing. Yeah. Have you caught the latest Jack Benny polka episode? Anyway, here we go. So,
well, our one episode we're talking about in this, the next one, has Jack smiling so much as he plays his little fiddle.
Oh,
So,
yes.
here's some
Yes.
joy. So,
Well, let's get into this one. So this is Jack Benny going to the dentist with a beaver, takes one of the beavers to the dentist, or a couple beavers actually. Um, and we'll just go around and say what we think of the episode. I will say I like the fact that it has Artie Rock in it, who of course is Mr. Kitzel. It is unfortunately he passed away a few months before this, before this was released. So it's nice to see him. He has a few posthumous episodes, and we'll get more into that as we hit some of his last episodes for Jack's show. But it's always fun to see him with Jack, and they just the caring those two actors have and the characters have for each other is really lovely to see. John, what were your thoughts on this one?
I thought this was a pretty good episode. It definitely had some highlights that I really enjoyed. Like, I didn't know where they were going at the beginning with that, where he's watching that TV show about the mean old man, and then when they pay it off later, when he's at the door with Mel Blanc. I love to see Mel Blanc, and I think he's such a fun. Whenever he's on the screen, I smile. So, yes. When he pays that off, that Jack's the mean old man because his wife is the writer for that show, I thought that was very funny. I loved the dentist stuff at the end. Like, obviously this show was kind of built around this idea, which I really thought was very funny, where he's trying to convince this kid to go to the dentist and get his tooth pulled. He says, okay, let's just pretend that you're going to pull my tooth. And then you know what's going to happen. So when he gets in the chair.
And the kid part you could predict early on too. Is like, okay, the kid keeps on saying nothing hurts or anything. So I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going. And then, yeah, it was great. It was great. Kathy, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, I had not seen this episode before, and I was really intrigued. This is one of the ones, indeed, recorded back in June of '57. When they had the summertime, and the quality of the filming is just so crisp and clear. Thank you. I'm so grateful for this beautiful episode. It's an interesting mishmash of older radio idea programs from the older idea of the radio serial, The Mean Old Man. I love the fact that they tried to claim it was a TV show, but we only saw the back of the TV so that they could use the dialogue from the older script of The Mean Old Man. I was delighted and absolutely loved Rochester's solo.
Yes.
What a fabulous showcasing of his talent in a way that some modern day critics of the show only point to Rochester performing with a broom in hand and, in ways that made him seem like a household servant. But here doing this fabulous Louis Armstrong, channeling with the candlestick becoming the trumpet. I thought it was absolutely lovely. So I'm very grateful we have.
Well, and I was like, why is he grabbing the candlestick? It was sort of like, okay, well, he's gonna, of course, Rochester always seems to multitask. So I was going, okay, he's cleaning that up while he's singing the song. But then how he uses it so effectively as the horn, that was beautiful.
So
the other thing I thought was funny is it's sort of like Don's like, hey, I'll accompany you here on the piano here and we'll do this. And I'm like, okay, where are the drums coming from? Where's the horn coming from? Boy, I would say that Don, again, we talk about how wonderful Don is. I didn't realize that he could do a full band sound from just a piano. That's pretty darn amazing. He can do anything.
I also found a wonderful Laura Leibowitz in her guide to all the TV episodes is able to tell us that the middle commercial is actually Don and Rochester talking about Lucky Strikes. The mailman brings a carton of Luckies in the mail. And the two, so instead of the sportsman coming in and singing, or Rochester having to do a second chorus of his song about Luckies, that they talked about it. And I also wondered from that scene, just a historical footnote, I was fascinated that the magazines came rolled, with a little bit of tape around them. And how would you ever, get the magazine at your house ever to lay flat again.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, okay, yeah, because you could totally see how they would just stay. Once something's rolled like that, you can't. I would be so annoyed. I think I wouldn't order magazine subscriptions. I would go and get them off the stand where they're flat. So anyway, um, John, we were just talking while you popped out for a momentary
Yes.
minute.
Technical issues.
We were just chatting about Rochester's piece in this, and his song was so wonderful.
Oh, I love that. His impression of Louis Armstrong. If you've ever seen Louis Armstrong,
Yes.
Playing a video of him, that was a spot on impression. I love that.
Well, and including the horn part, I was so
Yeah.
when he did that, I was like, wow, and it looked beautiful. It was great using that candlestick as the horn. I thought it was great. So
yeah.
And then anything else that struck you in this episode, John? Any other?
Well, I thought it was interesting. Speaking of Rochester, the bit where he says, "Oh, they called me the sentimental fellow with the mellow bellow," or whatever it was. Yeah. Interestingly, we're going to be talking about another episode, which is the following episode after this. So I listened to the radio show that one was based on, and they used that bit, the sentimental fellow with a mellow bellow, in that one from 1955 as well. So it's so funny to see how they pull these different little bits from different episodes over the years.
Do you remember where the bit with Mean Old Man came from? I think it was I want to say it was in the 50s, like 52 or something like that. It would be my guess.
I don't remember exactly where it's from.
Yeah, but you remember hearing it before on the radio, right?
Yeah, and it went on several
yes.
yes. Several
episodes.
Oh,
they played with it so well, and they effectively just presented it as this little piece of this episode. But for longtime Jack Benny fans and folks like us, it is just charming when they do that, when they feature something that comes from the radio version. And it doesn't have to always be a whole episode. It can just be a bit that's part of an episode, and this worked fine. And I enjoyed the whole dentist trip to the dentist and everything. I don't know, was there a Jack Benny goes to the dentist with the Beavers on radio? Do you remember, John?
I don't remember there being one, but I don't have every episode memorized.
No, but I think between the two of us and Kathy, we sort of can get pretty close.
It sounded familiar. How about that? So
yeah.
Laura suggests that the script is borrowed from the March 4, 1951 radio program, but that could be applying to Mean Old Man as well as anything.
Yes. And who knows? It could be an episode that's done almost the exact same as this. I mean, I can't remember if the Mean Old Man had a dentist part in it. It could have.
Right. But how, as part of this mashing together, I actually always enjoy when any mention is made that the Beavers believe that Jack Benny is this great sports hero.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Hero of the Harvard versus Yale game, beating up Gene Tunney and things like that, when he just gets to smile. And, and if they can have the children be so believing as does their mother, it's...
Well, and that to me was...
So.
That was what was so charming in this, because we're used to the Beavers believing him in everything, and everyone else, like the Beavers will say something in front of Mary, and you can just feel her eyes rolling through the radio, but and her comments too. But to have the mom sucked in was a nice little twist on it, and then she kept on thinking, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. And you kind of felt like a little bit like Jack was maybe sort of embarrassed, like all of these things where he's bragging is always done off screen. So you never really see him saying, "Oh, I fought, Jack Dempsey or whoever," but you always see the aftermath of that. And so I feel like when there's an adult in the room, then he's sort of like, or another cast member, he's sort of like that pot lying or whatever.
Yes. Oh, I agree. But yeah, just a charming little episode. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to point out in this episode was that we've seen a few of these now that are strictly the sitcom, where it happens at the house. We never see the studio at all. We never, that he's not on the stage in front of the curtain or anything like that. I'm always interested in what are they going to do? Are they going to have it introduced before the curtain? Are they going to, and they sort of just Now it's a free-for-all at this point in 1957, 58-ish time frame. They can just do whatever they want. And I'm charmed by these episodes that play like an I Love Lucy episode or like a whatever, where they're strictly sitcom. It's just kind of fun that they can do that and are comfortable doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, another bit we didn't mention is where Don Wilson comes in and says like, "Oh, what do you want to do about the singer?" And he's like, "Do whatever you want, Don."
Yeah.
Oh, great! I know somebody I can get for $1,000. And I love his line where he's like, "If I told you once, I told you $1,000."
Yes.
And you're right, because that then leads into Jack trying to get Rochester.
That's right.
With that interesting dance they had to do in the radio days that meant that Rochester was only an employee at the house.
Right.
And that back in radio days, he never had anything to do with the studio. And so they're having to deal with this old dialogue, that's and versus the possible new arrangement of the show. So I thought they did fairly well with the dance. But if you didn't know the long history of it.
Well, and I used to think it was kind of silly how hard they would try to squeeze the song in and say, "Oh, this is a rehearsal for the song," or this is to explain why. On radio, they did that a lot of.
Or like Dennis
is going to sing it in a phone booth or something, right? and yet it just gets more and more charming as you go, and it's like it's just fun, and to hear them do that same sort of thing on television and see it is delightful. And so often he'd have those talks with Don and be mad at Don about something like this, Don trying to hire somebody that he shouldn't be, or usually it was about the sportsman or whatever. But that play on that, and like John says, that thousand time payoff was just wonderful, because you've heard it so many times in your head. You're going to have told you once, I told you 1,000 times, but then when he throws in dollars, it was like, oh, that is perfect, Jack. That is, I love it.
That's a very good point, and it makes you think that if we beamed somebody down from another planet who had never heard of Jack Benny before, how would they understand this show versus, the members of the audience who've been listening to the radio show for, decades, or at least been watching the TV show for, 8-9 years.
Right.
So the levels of meaning and resonance the show gets, the more you know about the deep background, the more you are a fan of the show or familiar with it. So,
well, that's what makes this episode so amazing, and so many of the episodes like this. This is a perfect one to me, that for people that have the background, have watched the shows, have listened to the radio shows, there's a resonance to it that is just wonderful. And yet, if you were brand new and this was the very first Jack Benny show you ever saw, there were still things that would work for you. And so that has got to be hard dance to do, of pleasing a longtime audience, but also not alienating new audiences and be like such inside baseball that they don't even know what's going on. So this is a nice balance.
I thought, looking at the time period, I thought it was interesting that he's at home and he's in like a golf shirt or whatever. And then he tells the kid, "Oh, I got to go change if we're going to go out to the dentist." And he puts on the full suit. Like, that is not something we would do these days, to get fully dressed up to go to the dentist.
Right.
Yeah. That, and, talking about the fur coat business, and like the full fur coat being in cold storage.
You would understand that these days.
And and a couple of people they mention, Crosby, Como, of course, that's Bing Crosby and Perry Como, but I don't know who Tolly Martin is. Do you guys know Tolly Martin? Must be another crooner of the time. Obviously didn't have the same footprint as Crosby or Como.
Right. Yeah, it was it Tony Martin was who it was, or was it?
I thought it was Tolly, but maybe I wrote it down wrong.
Tony Martin is a famous
Tony Martin. Well,
I think it was Tony Martin, and I think Tony Martin
is
a singer, but not to the same level, like you say, as the other two. But
for someone who is either a new or an older lifetime Benny viewer, having a Joe Kearns show up in all these different roles.
Yes.
I mean, we would understand if it was Frank Nelson, but it's just interesting to have a Joe show up here at the dentist, and then and
And don't audiences know Joe Kearns mainly as the dad on, not the dad, the neighbor on Dennis the
Mr.
Menace,
Wilson.
right?
Oh.
That he did that for a number of years and then passed away during the filming, I believe, of Dennis the Menace, and they changed him up to be
oh, really?
To be Mr. Mooney from the Lucy Show. I forget what his name is, but also just a famous actor because
Gail Gordon.
Gail Gordon.
Oh, Gail Gordon.
He was also in the Phil Harris Show as Phil Harris's boss or whatever for a long time, which was charming. His sponsor.
Armus Brooks, the old radio show.
Yeah, he would. Yes.
And that was a TV show too. The difference between a Frank Nelson, who's just like in your face and just, you know, hilarious, versus Joseph Kearns. I like Joseph Kearns, but he's a straight man. Like if you don't watch hundreds of episodes of Jack Benny, you're not even going to notice him, especially on the radio show where you don't see his face.
Yeah, no, all you ever hear is a Mr. Kearns comes to interview Jack about all these things in the past. So you're right. He's not a memorable person. Although another deep Benny fact, the dentist secretary nurse is Jeanette Iman, Jack's longtime secretary.
Yeah. And one of the boys is the son of it wasn't one of these guys. I was reading it. One of the kid actors, either in this episode, I can't remember if it was the Thanksgiving episode we did, if it was the boy in there, but one of them, no, it must have been one of these boys, was the son of one of his secretaries. And yeah. So anyway.
Neat.
I think I have more on that, but I'll talk about that next episode we have. That's probably totally wrong. So ignore all that. We'll move on. Anyway, enjoy this episode, everybody. Anything else to add? Are we good?
I think we're good.
We're good.
Thank you for introducing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fun episode. So have a great time with this one. Well, now for something very special. Kathy, what do we have now?
We've got a trailer for our upcoming episode.
Wow. John, do you like trailers?
Ooh, do I?
All right, let's see it.
Hey, you rugby boy. How's my old bowling buddy? Sorry, Martin. Don't mind if I do. Join me.
Norton, you want some coffee?
You know something, Ruffy? All of a sudden, I got a strange feeling that I want milk.
Yeah, Norton?
What are you doing? I don't know. Washing up milk with your tongue? I never heard of that.
I have.
We don't need you.
Hello? Oh, yes, Clara. Oh, you don't have to go visit your mother in Jersey. You can feed the cats yourself. No, I won't be stuck with the cat food. Ralph and Norton are eating it now.
Didn't you hear what she said? That's cat food. That beats anything that Trixie ever made. Norton, you are an idiot. You are a mental. Now get right, come on, turn on the light in the hall. I won't have to. I got a feeling I can see in the dark.